The UK Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has come, I suppose, under fire for her behaviour in an Ibiza nightclub where she got up with Fish, who is the DJ, and had a little bit of a dance and a bop around with him and all of that. She's been criticised by, I suppose, the right-wing press in the UK and indeed by political rivals for being unseemly and demeaning her role as Deputy Prime Minister. And for more on this, we're joined now by Ian O'Doherty, columnist with the Irish Indo. Ian, do you agree? Did she demean her role?
I find the whole Angela Rayner thing absolutely hilarious. For anybody who wasn't really paying that much attention, there was pictures of her. She was on a break, and she was in Ibiza, and there were pictures of her in the British tabloids dancing in the DJ's booth at a club in Ibiza, Club H, I think it was called. So this was an old school classic silly season story. August for the media used to be silly season because it was, the dog days of summer and all the good stories have been used up. Now, we actually haven't had a silly season in about 8 years since Brexit and Trump and things like that. Like, it's either all seasons are silly seasons or it's just there's everything to talk about. But the tabloids hopped on it. The Sun did a very clever British tabloid thing. Then they had an entirely coincidental feature beside the Angela Rayner story of the different kind of drugs people might be getting in clubs in Ibiza at this time of the year and stuff. So they were able to get a 3 or 4 day story arc out of something that should have basically just been top of page five.
But the point, Ian, that what she's been criticised for is being kind of adolescent, being demeaning her role, not behaving in a statesman-like way, not behaving in a way that becoming of somebody of her seniority within the cabinet, all of those things. Is there any justification for that? Because I kind of feel sorry for, first of all, I didn't think she did anything bad, and I hold up my hands and go, je suis Angela Rayner. I could easily have been videoed or photographed in similar situations myself. Not that anyone would care because I'm not a politician. But like, who among us hasn't had a few drinks, gone out for a bit of a dance and been out late? Like we either criticise them for being out of touch and in ivory towers, or that we criticise them for being just like the rest of us.
Yeah, I don't think that much of the criticism was really sort of beating of the chest and genuine outrage. I mean, you'll have noticed even that the Tories in the House of Commons, when she came back, I mean, they were complimenting her on her dancing skills and stuff like that, and then they were sort of making vaguely half-hearted points about, well, really, is this appropriate for somebody in that role? But I mean, Michael Gove, when he was in that role, I mean, remember that there were the far more embarrassing pictures of him dancing.
Yes,
and they were genuinely embarrassing because he,
terrible dancer.
He proved that he couldn't dance, or I think he might have even used that dreaded phrase. He was cutting a rug on the dance floor.
Nadine Dorries, who was a former Tory MP, she criticised her. She did say that she demeaned her role, that she was the Deputy Prime Minister and she should have been.
Yeah, but nobody really listens to anything Nadine Dorries says, But the important thing to remember from this is that the person who's happiest about this story is the lady in question.
Angela Rayner?
For the simple reason that, because they're not talking as much about the fact that she bought and sold her own council house. She was invested by the cops for it. She made an over 40 grand plus profit. She was perfectly entitled to do it. She was cleared by the investigation. And now she's bringing in a law to ban other people from doing it.
Yes.
So,
and that backfired from her. But things like...
And people aren't talking about the fact that now Labour are taking away the winter fuel.
And maybe it's distracting from Grenfell and other issues that are
so basically, Labour are quite happy to have this being the topic of conversation.
She said an interesting thing. Angela Rayner said, Ian. She said, like, I'm working class. Like, get over it. What did you think? What did you make of that?
That was. I thought it was like, what? Do the middle class not dance?
That's exactly what Shane Coleman said. He said, I don't understand this. Do the middle? I took that differently. I took that what she was saying was that this is a middle-class sensibilities issue, that the working class don't care. We get up, we bop around, we don't care what you think of us, a bit like the upper class. It's the middle classes that care about this kind of sort of what things, see how things seem. We're the middle classes are obsessed with the appearance of things. I thought that's what she was saying.
No, well, I mean, the thing is, she likes to burnish her working class credentials. She was a single mother and all that kind of stuff. And there are times when it is germane to what she's necessarily talking about. This one I just thought there was a bit of a working class hero kind of vibe going on with this. It was like, kids and people of all generations and all classes, in England particularly, go to Ibiza during the summer. It's not a specifically.
But the bottom line, do you
thing.
think politicians in their downtime can do what they like? Within
Yeah,
reason, illegally, do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about breaking laws or anything, but legally do what they like.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Shane's been at enough after parties at Ardesh's and things like that. You know, we all know Irish politicians, and you know, they'd be well up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning.
Shane is smiling and going a bit misty-eyed here beside me.
Yeah, or a bit shuffly feet and embarrassed himself. But no, it's the thing is, we can't complain on the one hand about politicians being out of touch and not being like the real people, and then start complaining when somebody goes and finds themselves dancing in the DJ booth.
Fair.
There are lots of things that you can have a go at Angela Rayner about. This isn't one of them, and this is why she's delighted this is a story.